Literally, it's a different science to it. I mean, just look at the edge there of that crust on the Detroit. Hey guys, Mark, 42freeway.com. Detroit style pizza. Do you know what it is? Honestly, a few years ago I didn't, and I wanted to learn more about it. What's different about the Detroit style pizza from Sicilian, regular pizza? Well, I came to the experts. I'm here with Damien from Polizzi's Pizza over in Washington Township. Say hi, Damien.
Hi guys.
And we're going to show you exactly what it takes to make a delicious Detroit style pizza. Hang with us. All right, I'm going to flip this around in a second. We're going to get into some pizza, but I want to see what Damien, what have you prepared for us here? We have like a pizza lab. I love it.
Yeah, so I didn't know what you wanted to see. I know we're focusing on the Detroit, but I wanted to show you the Sicilian. I have some rounds ready, and I wanted to show you the process of how a regular dough turns into a Detroit style. So here we have just one of our round doughs, okay? This is our Neapolitan dough. It's used for all of our brick oven rounds. So whenever anybody orders a round, this is the dough they're getting. It's the same dough. The biggest question is, well, do you make different doughs for different style pizzas? Our Detroit, our round, and our Sicilian is all the same dough recipe. The weights of it are different, and the fermentation process is really the biggest difference. So,
well, we didn't say that. Like, you're actually taking flour here. You're starting with a giant bag of flour.
Giant 50-pound bag of flour stacked up over there into that machine with water, salt, a little bit of sugar, oil, and it all ends up to be this after a while.
So that's your Neapolitan?
That's the Neapolitan.
Neapolitan.
Yeah, Neapolitan is the traditional 1,000-degree oven, see the open flame, cooks in 90 seconds. A lot of people around here do it. I believe Pizza Crime in Haddonfield does it. Menino's in Pittman, very well-known places that do it. There's a couple food trucks that do it that are
excellent,
really cool.
Excellent places. Well, it's nice that you call them out too.
Yeah, no, everybody. There's room for everybody's style. So, but this is the Neapolitan. I'll stretch it out, get it to as close to the corners as possible. But the pan does most of the work.
You're cooking it in that pan? Okay.
Yeah. So the pan does most of the work. Once I get it to this stage, I'll usually leave it overnight this time of year in the summertime out all day because it's too hot in here. In the summertime, so I can't leave it overnight, it explodes.
Yeah.
It gets to this phase, and you can see it kind of jiggle a little bit, all right? But it fills up every gap.
So that is the same exact dough right there.
Same
just
dough.
After it's risen, it's picked
overnight.
up some air. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you'll see all the bubbles right there.
Yeah.
Okay. The pan really does most of the work because then I par bake it. All right, so I partially bake the dough, and it gets to this stage. All right, still very spongy, very airy, and I do that so I can then cheese it and finish it off. All right, so now we're going to cheese it. So at this level, the dough has spread out to every corner. Okay.
Right.
And as you bake it, it starts to shrink a little bit. If you see that gap that formed.
Yes.
Okay. But when it's flat, there's a little bit of space, and the key is to cheese it the right amount. And you have to hit the edges, okay? That creates a nice wall of cheese because it'll continue to shrink a little bit. The pan will shrink the dough a little bit, and this cheese will have an opportunity to fall behind.
So
and
you
create
want
a wall
it
of
to
cheese.
fall behind.
Yep, it gets caught between the wall of this pan and the dough, creating a charred cheese crust. And that's the biggest difference, arguably, between a Sicilian and a Detroit.
Interesting.
All right, so we'll throw it in. See you guys in about 12 minutes. For as much work as the Detroit doesn't take, that the pan does all the work, I make up for it in the Sicilian. The Sicilian is so much work.
Is it? And it's the same dough?
It's the same dough. It's a round dough at first, now double the weight, but it's a round dough. It sits in this oiled pan. It rises once. I punch it down. I shape it, the first shaping. Let it rise again. I shape it again. Let it rise again. Then it can sit overnight. You can get 3-4 days if they last that long, but usually you sell them out, so it doesn't matter.
All right. You're killing me already, man.
Yeah,
you haven't even cooked it yet, and you're killing me.
The crushed tomatoes.
Now you put the Detroit in with the cheese on it. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just gut feeling to know when to take it out?
Well, it's funny. If you follow our social media, we're big on Instagram, Facebook, Polizzi's Brick Oven. You'll see me burn a few. So it's gut instinct, but when it's slower, when there's time, that's when I forget about them. Because usually when I'm busy, I'm always checking the oven.
Fair enough.
However, when it's slower, that's when I forget about it. So Dominic made me buy an egg timer, which I refuse to use.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And that's when I still burn it.
Is it still in the box? Mm-hmm. So what are you putting on here? We got
the grated pecorino romano, extra virgin olive oil, Sicilian oregano, and then if you're a pizza guy, this is the only mozzarella you should be using, this particular brand out of Wisconsin. Don't know the legalities of it, but everybody who owns a pizzeria knows if you're not using this, then you're simply just trying to save money, which is a shame because you end up having to use twice as much on the cheap cheese, so it doesn't really work out, but it's none of my business.
So you might as well just go for the best.
Yeah, there's probably 2 top brands, but this is truly the best. Anybody who tries to duplicate it or try and shun away from it or whatever they try and do for some reason, but this is by far the most expensive, but it's absolutely worth it. Just don't tell them because I don't need them to raise the prices. But that's the Sicilian, so that's ready.
Excellent.
There it is. It's ready.
All right. Now you say ready. Those who are paying attention at home, there's no sauce on this yet, but we're going to get to that, right?
That's right. So use a nice little tool to scrape around the edges, get all that cheese away from it. You see how it creates a nice little fence, so to speak, of just a wall of cheese.
And see when you made the comment earlier about the pan doing all the work, I think this is another aspect of it, right? Having the high sides of the pan makes like a crispy, oh, look at that. Let me get that on there. Makes like a crispy sort of sidewall to hold all the goodness in. All right, and now here comes the sauce.
Traditionally, Detroit style has 2 strips of sauce. It's a 10-inch by 14-inch pan. Traditionally, that's how Detroit is. You're going to hear the crunch.
Oh, yeah.
And it's cut in 6.
So the sauce is, it's hot. It's kept hot during the day, right? You have it in a...
Yep, it's all ready. You see it steaming.
Table. So you don't have to put this back in the oven because everything...
Nope. No, because what will happen is the moisture will separate from the sauce. You can already see it here because we don't blend the sauce. We just hand crush it.
Right. All right, this is hot out of the oven. It's a rough job, this 42 freeway thing. Look at this slice. Get that up close. Steam coming off it. I'm going to give this a bite. Wow. You know what? The interesting thing about the experience of eating this, Damien, is like there are crispy elements. Like I heard it crunch, but then inside, it's not. It's more of a softer pocket.
Right.
So you get multiple experiences, and I've become more of a sauce fan as I got older. It used to be all about the cheese for me. The sauce is awesome, and I love that the sauce is sort of a, it keeps that looser consistency by the way you put it on at the end.
And so you can see the challenge if you don't par bake it, how it could possibly get raw in the middle.
Yes, yeah, good point. There's no gumminess or anything in the middle there as you were talking about. Oh, that's amazing. That is really, really good. You're Sicilian here, and then you have the Detroit, and you can see just the style difference. You have the edge crust that you were talking about that really just is amazing.
And I'll put a slice next to each other.
Go
so
right
you can
ahead.
See the thickness.
Let's do it.
You can hear the crunch.
Anybody watching this at home, if you were not like salivating right now to want to run over here and get pizza,
so
there's just no help for you.
There you go. A bit crunchier, a bit thinner. You'll see right next to each other the thickness. So again,
It's
a little
funny
bit more
how
dense crunch.
The same basic ingredients really do equal like a different product and experience. Like it's more than just Taco Bell taking 4 ingredients and mixing them up. Like you literally have, it's a different science to it. I mean, just look at the edge there of that crust on the Detroit. So one thing I learned that's different when you eat the Sicilian, which we're going to try right now, look at that. Because the sauce was baked as part of the whole pie, it's not running. And I love what the Detroit pizza offers, but you got to be careful when you pick up the Detroit slice, right, Damien? Because it'll kind of run with you.
There's a liability.
Wow, that's amazing. Also, I again, Damien, the way that you could take like the same core amazing ingredients and just prepare them differently, mix them up, it really changes the product. It changes the pizza. I love them both. I love the sort of the Detroit pizza with the looser sauce on top, and I can totally get the difference in the crust. It's just a different crust experience with this. Excellent job.
Good, thank you.
All right, Damien. So give us a quick rundown. We spent a lot of time talking about your amazing pizza, but give the fans what the Polizzi experience is.
Yeah, so we're a little bit different. We're a hybrid between table and counter service. You come in, you order at the counter, you pay, and then we bring it out to you. We have limited hours, so our hours are Tuesday through Thursday, 4 to 8, and then Friday, Saturday, 11 to 9. So we do lunches on Friday, Saturdays. We're closed Sunday, Monday. That's family days. My wife, that was her rule. If you're going to open, you have to be closed Sunday for the family and Monday for me to get all the stuff she wants done. All my kids work here. My son, the oldest, he just started not too long after we opened. He has a passion for roasting his own coffee beans, so he sells whole bean bags. He can grind them specific for your pod machine, your espresso machine. He makes espressos here when he's working. If he's not here, you don't get coffee because I don't do it.
How do they order the coffee? Do they just come in here and order
it?
You
can either DM at Cafe Polizzi's on Instagram, Facebook. Okay. You can come in here and order. You can call ahead. He usually has a couple spare bags. He also sells them up the street at Brick Grocery. They're kind enough to hold it for him.
Oh, great.
So he sells them there as well.
Another awesome Washington Town.
Yeah, we love those guys over there.
And then you also have cheesesteaks and other sandwiches.
Oh yeah,
here?
we have small plates. We only do pastas for catering. Speaking of which, you can order catering trays any hour whenever you want them. Just give us a heads up. We'll open just for that, or larger orders. If we're not open for lunch, we'll do the catering. But we'll do small plates like chicken parm, eggplant rollatini, entree salads, all sorts of sandwiches, homemade fresh cutlets, cheesesteak, chicken cheesesteaks. We have wraps. So it's a pretty extensive menu. Just no pasta dinners yet.
Gotcha. So, hey, you got time. You can work up to it.
Yeah.
And you have nice. Well, we're here before opening, obviously, but there's a nice area here to sit. A lot of windows. Nice tables, nice seating. So.
Yeah, we keep everything clean, nice. The chairs are uncomfortable, so you don't sit too long. But yeah, that's us.
Excellent. Thank you.